print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Jonathan Roger, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the May 2nd through May 8th issue of the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The first article is entitled Build of Buffalo Presents, a tribute to remember the lives lost in the Tops mass shooting. This solemn time of remembrance will be held on Thursday, May 14, 2026 at Elim Christian Fellowship, 70 Chalmers Avenue, Buffalo, New York, 14214. The tribute will commence with the continental breakfast at 9:30 a.m. and program from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Build of Buffalo President Charlie H. Fisher III explained that this tribute will intentionally honor, remember, and respect the 10 lives lost and 3 injured on May 14, 2022. The 10 fallen: Roberta A. Drury, Margus D. Morrison, Andre McNeil, Aaron Salter, Geraldine Talley, Celestine Cheney, Hayward Patterson, Catherine Massey, Pearl Young, and Ruth Whitfield. Fisher provided a synopsis of the tribute, which includes a prayer for survivors and all impacted by the 2022 mass shooting, an address from guest speaker Justice Craig Hanna, Supreme Court of the State of New York, Appellate Division, 4th Judicial District. Performances from Pastor Valerie Foy and friends, Brian K. Freeman, and Muhammad School of Music. In 2025, our solemn time of remembrance focused on prayers for our city and nation from area clerics. Prayers included community unity and economic stability, racial reconciliation, education and health care, local and national leadership, safety and environmental and spiritual revival. Today, faith leaders serving the Buffalo region and clerics nationwide are joining in prayer during this time of remembrance. For more information, contact Charlie H. Fisher III, 716-650-8889. That's 716-650-8889, or Avery T. Bates at 716-463-7906. Again, that's 716-463-7906. The event is being sponsored by Jericho Road Community Health Center, Project Lab, and Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. All are invited. If you would like those phone numbers, please call the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And as a note, next to the article, there is a photo of 2 gentlemen sitting across from the table, and the caption under the photograph is Charlie Fisher and Avery Bates. The next article is entitled Superheroes Appeared at C District Police Station for Kids by Julienne McGee. On April 25, 2026, the Johnetta R. Cole AmVets Post 24 and the African American Veterans Arts and Culture Corporation presented a National Superheroes Day with this year's theme as Finding the Superhero in You. the kids and adults came out in the rain and enjoyed food, fun, games, various contests, coloring pictures, and won awards for wearing their superhero costumes. They were greeted by Marvel Comics character Black Panther, portrayed by Mr. Robert Johnson, and told the kids that his superpower was the ability to draw upon knowledge, strength, and experience from every Black Panther before him. He is also a master hand-to-hand combat and martial artist, proficient tactician, inventor, and has genius-level intelligence and utilize vibranium suit and equipment. Ms. Marquetta K. Bates also portrayed Marvel Comics character Okoye, spoke about being the general of the special forces for the African nation of Wakanda and called Dora Milaje, and she carries a vibranium spear. With her abilities, she is a master martial artist and a hand-to-hand combatant, master technician, strategist, and a field commander. Ms. Monica Lynch portrayed the character Captain Underdog. Talked on her superpower was always protecting people and giving them the inspiration to do well. Ms. Veronica Johnson represented a group of women that were sheroes in the community during World War II. These women were called Black Rosies, who worked in the defense plants across the country. 3 of the Black Rosies, among many that worked at Curtis Wright plant as riveters. Their names were Mrs. Evelyn Patterson Merriweather and Mrs. Mary Patterson Harris and Mrs. Ruth Hunter Bowman. Their special powers were keeping America safe from Germany and Japan. Buffalo police officer Andrea Anderson explained to the kids about being a police officer and that police officers are superheroes because they protect the community from all types of harm in the city. Ms. Anderson is also the host of the Chocolate Goddess radio program on WUFO 1080 every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. She went on to tell the kids that she is a real estate agent and former Army veteran. Mr. Lawrence Dupre, Erie County legislator for the 1st District, paid a visit to this event. When asked by 2 of the kids, "What are your superpowers?" he replied that, "I have the ability to move objects with my assistant, Ms. Marietta K. Bates. She is the one who keep things and objectives in order, and everyone has a superhero inside of them." Mrs. Linda Gray and her granddaughters, Star and Michaela, enjoyed the event and said, "I came to the event and to see my granddaughters have fun. Ms. Margot Warb brought her granddaughters Kenya and Kamela to the event. The girls are having a good time, and I support activities like this." There were community organizations that came out and supported National Superhero Day and brought kids with them, such as Ms. Beverly Newkirk of It Takes a Village Action Organization located on the 2nd floor of the Buffalo and Erie County Central Library, Ms. Sabrina Cobb Walls of Eternal Life Ministries located at 1166 Jefferson Avenue, and Ms. Trinisha Brown, founder of Queens in Training, located at the Apollo Media Center, 1346 Jefferson Avenue. Ms. Monica Lynch, CEO and founder of the Bernard and Eric Resource Center, located at 730 Columbus Parkway. Finally, the kids were asked about who were their everyday superheroes. They answered that their parents, grandparents, other family members, teachers, armed forces veterans, and more were their heroes. A special thank you goes out to Mr. and Mrs. Sithsak Shansimone for coming and supporting this event. A heartfelt thank you goes to Chief Thelma Jones for the love and the use of the C District Police Station for this event. The committee that put on National Superhero Day will always be heroes that shine every day. And the article is accompanied by 2 photos, the first of which includes adults and children wearing superhero costumes and smiling, and the second, which includes 3 women wearing superhero costumes, and the caption for that one is Deborah Ranson, Thelma Jones, and Marietta Bates. The next article is entitled Communication Coordinator at the Buffalo History Museum. It is accompanied by a photograph of a smiling young man wearing a baseball cap standing next to a sign that says the Buffalo History Museum. With more than 2 decades of experience, Cameron Wood's journey began in Buffalo, New York. His collegiate education in film production and directing led him to Hollywood, where he worked as a producer and first assistant director. Directors Guild of America. Cameron is a father to 1 daughter. He has dedicated himself to mentoring youth through film summer camps and student mentorship programs in New York and California. In 2024, Cameron moved back to Buffalo, where he currently works as the communications coordinator for the Buffalo History Museum, where his work collectively to sustain, preserve, and share Buffalo history. The next article is from the Community News section by Khadijah Merriweather. It's accompanied by a photograph of 5 people standing next to the photograph of a smiling gentleman, and the caption is a memorial service was held April 25th at St. Philip's Episcopal located at 18 Sussex, where Reverend Stephen Lane is pastor and officiant. Mr. Edward Herndon was born November 10th, 1930, and passed on April 19th, 2026. Mr. Herndon was born in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, and later moved to Lackawanna, New York. After high school, he joined the Air Force. Edward Herndon married Jean Ruth Watts in 1956, and they remained married for 58 years until she passed away in 2014. They had 3 children. Mr. Herndon was active in the community, political and civil arenas. He worked for the city of Buffalo as an assessor. The current mayor, Sean Ryan, and former mayors, Anthony Masiello and Byron Brown, gave remarks at his service. Edward Herndon was a longtime friend to the Merriweather family and supporter of the Buffalo Criterion newspaper. Our prayers go out to the Herndon family. The next article from the Community News section states that the Pleasant Grove Baptist Church family recognized Pastor Sam Harris's 2nd pastoral anniversary on April 25th. Dr. James Blackburn was the special guest. A repast followed the service at the Fellowship Hall hosted by the pastor's aide. This photo shows Annette King Frazier, pastor's aide, Pastor Sam Harris, and Sidney Brown, pastor's aide. And above the article is a photo of a man with 2 women, and they're all smiling. And the final community news article states that the Pleasant Grove Baptist Church family recognized Pastor Sam Harris's 2nd pastoral anniversary, and Again, there's another photo that shows a different gentleman standing with a young man, and they're both smiling. The next article is entitled A Better You Lifestyle Inc., named Small Business of the Year. The Niagara, USA Chamber of Commerce is proud to announce that A Better You Lifestyle Incorporated has been selected as the 2026 Small Business of the Year award recipient. The organization will be formally recognized at the Chamber's annual Honors Award luncheon. The Chamber shared its enthusiasm in recognizing this year's honorees, noting the strength and quality of the nominations received. The board was genuinely thrilled by the nominations that came in this year. We received a strong, impressive pool across all categories, making this year's selections especially meaningful. Being chosen from such a group is a true accomplishment, and we are honored to celebrate A Better You Lifestyle Inc. for the impactful work it does with youth and families throughout Niagara County. A Better You Lifestyle Incorporated, founded in 2021 by Willie A. Price, was established in response to the challenges facing youth and families following the COVID-19 pandemic. The organization focuses on improving youth and family fitness and aging in place for older adults. Their major focus is childhood obesity and promoting overall wellness through fitness, nutrition education, and track and field programs. Under Price's leadership as founder and executive director, the organization has become a valued community resource, helping to build healthier lifestyles and stronger connections among youth and families across the region. The Niagara, USA Chamber Honors Luncheon will take place on Thursday, May 14th, 2026, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Doubletree by Hilton, 401 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. The event will bring together business and community leaders from across Niagara County for a meaningful afternoon of recognition and celebration. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The next article is entitled Toni Stone, First Woman to Play Baseball in the Negro American League. At this time of the year, baseball season is ending and football has taken over. This article is a reprint from a few years ago. The history of blacks playing in baseball has been almost forgotten. However, there is one name that needs to be remembered. When hearing of black baseball players, most people will recall names such as Satchel Paige, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, or Jackie Robinson. However, there is one name that needs to be remembered, which is Toni Stone. I came across her name while researching something else. I wanted to know more about her, so I purchased a book about her life entitled Curveball, The Remarkable Story of Toni Stone, written by Martha Ackman. The book traces her early life to when she joined the Negro Leagues. The book is an interesting look into her life as a child and her passion for playing baseball. Toni Stone was born at Marcinia Lyle Stone in St. Paul, Minnesota on July 17, 1921. She began playing baseball at the age of 10. The author noted that Toni excelled at everything including swimming, golf, track, hockey, tennis, and ice skating. By the age of 15, she played for the St. Paul Giants, a men's semi-professional team. Later, She went on to play for the professional team known as the San Francisco Lions in 1949. She quit when she did not receive the pay that she was promised. Toni went on to play for the New Orleans Creoles from 1949 to 1952. She traveled with teams throughout the South. She always worked hard and learned from her parents, Boykin and Willa Stone. They moved to St. Paul in the 1930s and started a business. She watched her parents work hard at making a living through the Depression. Toni vowed that if I can't be the best, then I will just leave it alone. She told an interviewer that it was hard playing black baseball. She faced discrimination on all fronts, both outside and inside of the game. She was routinely disrespected by the men of many of the teams. Despite this treatment, she maintained an impact on the field. She faced such players as Satchel Paige, who many considered one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball. But Toni Stone held her own. After the 1954 season, Toni moved to Oakland, California to work as a nurse and care for her sick husband, who died later at the age of 103. Toni died in a nursing home on November 2nd, 1996. Toni Stone should be remembered in the annals of the Baseball Hall of Fame. She was an outstanding ball player and a great human being. And that article is from the Eye on History by Eva M. Doyle. Our next article is entitled, Mayor Sean Ryan and County Executive Mark Poloncarz announced 20 new affordable homes for sale. Mayor Sean Ryan and Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz today announced that 20 new affordable single-family homes in Buffalo are now available to low and moderate income buyers. The city and county have partnered with the Buffalo Erie Niagara Land Improvement Corporation, also known as BENLIC, and Belmont Housing Resources for Western New York, Incorporated, to offer these homes through the Building Buffalo Roots initiative. If we want strong neighborhoods, we need to make it possible for people to put down roots, Mayor Sean Ryan said. This program is about creating an opportunity for Buffalo residents who might not otherwise have a path to home ownership. We're helping families build equity, stabilizing our neighborhoods, and strengthening the future of Buffalo, one home at a time. The homes have been constructed using $11.1 million in American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, funds awarded to the city of Buffalo and $13.5 million in ARPA funds awarded to Erie County. This initial funding will deliver a total of 47 homes in the city of Buffalo. The county's investment has also funded the construction of 5 additional homes in Cheektowaga. Our community and our country are facing a housing shortage. We need to build more housing, and we need more opportunities for homeownership, Erie County Executive Mark C. Poloncarz said. The partnership between Erie County and the city of Buffalo has never been stronger. We are excited to see our next batch of new homes completed and ready for sale, with 20 for sale in Buffalo and 1 home still available in the Building Cheektowaga Roots portion of our collaborative partnership. With household budgets being stretched further than ever, BENLIC is committed to deepening housing affordability for our neighbors, said Jocelyn Gordon, Executive Director of the Buffalo Erie Niagara Land Improvement Corporation. The Building Buffalo Roots and Building Cheektowaga Roots initiatives highlight our continued collaboration with city and county leadership to reclaim properties, return them to productive use, and welcome new neighbors into our communities. We look forward to continuing to help others build roots here and elsewhere in the future. Beginning on Monday, April 27th, a total of 20 Building Buffalo Roots homes will be listed on the Multiple Listing Service, or MLS. Homes are priced at $205,000 for 3-bedroom units and $175,000 for 2-bedroom units. Qualified buyers must use the home as their primary residence and have a total gross household income that does not exceed $81,960. The application process is now open, and Belmont Housing Resources will accept applications through May 27th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. A lottery of eligible applicants will be held on June 4th at 1 p.m. Proceeds from the initial home sales will be reinvested to support future phases of construction. Open houses will be held on the following dates: Saturday, May 2nd, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday, May 16, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thursday, May 21st, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Open house locations include 440 Berkshire Avenue, 362 East Street, 233 Maston Avenue, 206 Miami Street, 251 Normal Avenue. To be eligible to purchase a home, applicants must meet program requirements including income and asset limits. For more information, including the application, eligibility requirements, and a full list of available homes, visit belmonthousingwesternwny.org/BBR. That's belmonthousingwesternwny.org/BBR. And to get that web address, please contact the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The next article is entitled Kearns Announces Grand Opening of Northtown's Outreach Center at Eastern Hills Mall. Clerk's Outreach Center will ensure all Erie County residents have convenient access to vital government resources. Erie County, New York. Erie County Clerk Michael P. Kearns is proud to announce the grand opening of its new Northtown's Outreach Center, conveniently located inside the Eastern Hills Mall, directly adjacent to the Erie County Auto Bureau. This new location expands access to essential government services offered by the County Clerk's Office for residents of Alden, Amherst, Clarence, Grand Island, Kenmore, Lancaster, Newstead, and the Tonawondas. The Northtown's Outreach Center will officially open Monday, May 4th, and operate the following hours: Monday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Outreach Center will offer a wide range of services, including acceptance of new U.S. passport applications, on-site passport photo services, assistance with DMV-related questions and forms, distribution of departmental forms and guidance, enrollment for veterans in the Clerk's Thank a Vet discount card program, registration for the William J. Donovan Book of Merit honoring Purple Heart recipients. This Northtown's Outreach Center reflects our continued commitment to bringing government services directly to the people we serve, said Erie County Clerk Michael P. Kearns. Following the tremendous success of our Southtown's Outreach Center, it was a natural step to expand this model to the Northtowns. By meeting residents where they live, we're making it easier, quicker, and more convenient to access important services while strengthening our connection to the community. The addition of the North Towns Outreach Center underscores the clerk's office's ongoing efforts to enhance customer service, improve accessibility, and ensure all Erie County residents have convenient access to vital government resources. No appointments are required at either outreach location, allowing residents to access services at their convenience. A ribbon-cutting ceremony is scheduled for opening day at the Eastern Hills Mall Outreach Center on Monday, May 4th. For more information, visit erie.gov/clerk. That's erie.gov/clerk, or contact the Erie County Clerk's Outreach Center at 716-858-8864. That's 716-858-8864. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The next article is entitled UB Roswell Park Develop AI Tool to Assess Lung Cancer Surgery Complication Risk by Corey Nealon. New tech aims to deliver personalized risk estimates and clinician-adjustable insights to support surgical decisions. Researchers from the University at Buffalo and Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center are developing an artificial intelligence tool to help surgeons better identify lung cancer patients at risk for post-operative complications. The work builds on a long-standing collaboration between the institutions, bringing together UB's strengths in AI and Roswell Park's expertise in thoracic oncology. The system, called MIRACLE, which stands for Multimodal Integrated Radiomics and Clinical Language-Based Explanation, is believed to be the first to combine clinical data, CT imaging, and large language model, or LLM, generated explanations to provide personalized risk estimates for patients who may be candidates for lung cancer surgery. It also produces a summary that surgeons can review and refine to reflect their own clinical insight. For more than 5 decades, UB has been a leader in artificial intelligence for the public good, said Venu Govindaraju, PhD, Senior Vice President for Research, Innovation, and Economic Development and co-author of the study, whose leadership in AI laid the foundation for this breakthrough. Today, this expertise is transforming cancer research using AI to detect disease earlier and open new pathways to prevention and cure. Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related death worldwide, and surgery remains one of the most effective treatment options. Because many patients are medically complex, post-operative complications can affect up to 40% of cases, making accurate risk assessment critical. However, existing risk calculators often rely on population-level data and subjective clinician judgment, which can limit their effectiveness for individual patients. According to Kenneth Patrick Seastedt, MD, a thoracic surgeon at Roswell Park and study co-author, this can lead to difficult decisions as some patients who could have safely undergone surgery are not recommended for it, while others at higher risk proceed without sufficient preoperative and postoperative planning. The next article is entitled, Many Activities for Youth Will Be at This Year's Juneteenth Festival by Betty Jean Grant. Hey, community. We know that many of you had or still have some concerns and comments regarding the running, pushing, and fighting that many of our youths got caught up in, because once the big opening Juneteenth parade was over, there was not enough activities to engage the kids, especially those who were in their preteens or older. Thus, in previous years, the young participants would assemble in the areas west of the wading pool. Since there was very little vending or the selling of merchandise going on over there, the young'uns got restless, and the taunting, heckling, or actual fistfights started to happen. This writer had heard that some of these Juneteenth festival fights are even organized and planned months before we have our historic and world-famous Juneteenth festival. The fact is, our Buffalo Juneteenth festival and parade is either the largest or second largest festival behind Galveston, Texas. The current Juneteenth Board of Directors and some of the original founders of the organization, such as Luther Burnett, Eugene Pierce, Roosevelt Wardlaw, Judson Price, Doug Ruffin Jr., Enid Wright, and Marcus Brown, are working hard to make the Juneteenth parade and festival an enjoyable and educational holiday for all of Buffalo and Western New York. So, in order for us to do this, we board members decided to solicit younger persons with a history of volunteerism and community engagement and public service to apply for the vacant positions that needed to be filled in order for Juneteenth of Buffalo to be in compliance with our bylaws and to reassure our funding and community partners that we are a positive and much-needed asset in the support and education of our two most vulnerable population, our senior citizens and our youth. The call for new members was put out and was answered by a great group of younger activists that included Patrick Cray, Nichelle Brown, Kelly Dumas, Annette King, Shola Clark, Michael T.A. Smith, Franchelle Parker, and Crystal Peacock. This energetic group of loud and proud Juneteenth supporters are busy planning activities that will help to attract our young men and women and provide alternatives to some of the destructive behaviors exhibited by a few of them in past years. The Juneteenth celebration began in 1865, the year slavery was officially abolished in the state of Texas. It took Union soldiers from January 1, 1865 to January 19 of that same year to let the formerly enslaved people from Africa know that they were now free. The Juneteenth name came from the mandate that the celebration must happen on the days between the 13th and 19th, hence the name Juneteenth. And while I'm on the subject, the City of Buffalo Juneteenth Festival is celebrating its 50th anniversary by hosting a fantastic Juneteenth 50th Anniversary Gala at the Classic 5 Banquet and Conference Center, 2425 Niagara Falls Boulevard, Amherst, New York, June 5th, 2026. We hope to see you there. And that article was by Ms. Betty Jean Grant. Our next article is entitled Lillian E. Hundley Annual Scholarship Award, presented by the Bennett Wells American Legion Auxiliary, number 1780. Mrs. Hundley was the mother of 10 children. As a young widow, she was able to successfully raise her children alone. While her children were in school, she volunteered to tutor reading to students in the Diocesan Education Center. Mrs. Hundley helped raise funds to pay for YMCA memberships for neighborhood children and was a member of the YMCA board. Mrs. Hundley was always known for being a hard worker and a pillar in the community. She founded the Landon Fillmore Block Association to help with the maintenance and beautification of the neighborhood. A longtime member of the Fire Prevention Board, which was created to aid where needed. Also, she was a founding member of the Bennett Wells American Legion Auxiliary Post 1780, whose main purpose is to provide assistance to all veterans in need of support in Erie County. And she served as a board member of the Maston Block Club Coalition. The scholarship will be awarded $500 to deserving seniors who have been accepted into college. Parents who have deserving students should have their applications submitted no later than June 13th, 2026, to the address listed on the application. An image of the application is included in the article, and the application includes the name, address, and telephone number of the applicant, name of the applicant's high school, name of college or university you are planning to attend, address of the college or university, and then there are 3 points. This scholarship is available to any high school senior that has received an acceptance letter from a college or university planning to attend in the fall, and a copy of the acceptance letter is requested with the application. Number 2, 2 letters of reference from your high school faculty. And third, 1 letter of reference from a respected member in your community. Also, a 500-word typewritten essay describing what you have done in the past or what you are presently doing to help in the community. Also, what are your career goals? And a copy of your most recent high school transcript. That information is to be sent to the following address: Ms. Dolores Ross Williams, President of the Bennett Wells American Legion Auxiliary, number 1780, 1356 East Delavan Avenue, Buffalo, New York, 14215. For questions or more information, you may call the American Legion Auxiliary Post, number 1780, at the following number: 716-316-1846. Again, for more information on applying for this scholarship for college-bound seniors, you may call 716-316-1846. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Buffalo Criterion on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The next article is from the segment The Mighty Oba's Sports Report, and the title is Buffalo Bills 2026 Draft by Pat Freeman, known as the Mighty Oba. The Buffalo Bills made some aggressive draft moves this year, which gave them 10 picks that could help a still particularly good football team. The one thing I've learned over the years is to disregard a draft grade. You might not get the best out of these players for assorted reasons. The key factor in the NFL is health. Last year, Maxwell Hairston made some remarkable plays in his rookie season, but was slowed by injuries. Health of a draft class is your first consideration. After that, they can make an impact on the football field by showing consistency enough for a franchise to keep you around. The other factor is coaching offensive and defensive schemes. Many players fail to catch on at the pro level, so there's a lot that goes into a draft class when evaluating its grade. I just cannot see how any so-called sports journalist can give an honest grade of a draft right after its conclusion. The other factor is physical and mental adjustment to the pro game. Many young players struggle with the pro adjustment despite having the talent to play pro ball. It takes a few years to see the impact of any draft. The following players were selected in the 2026 draft by the Bills, but we will have to give this class an opportunity before you give a grade. The one thing I like about the organization is their ability to find contributors from the 4th to 7th rounds over the years, so this could be a very good class. I just refuse to put a grade on the class at this point of their development with this franchise. Round 2, pick 35, OLB TJ Parker. Round 2, pick 62, CB Davison Igbinosun. Round 4, pick 102, TG Jude Bowery. Round 4, pick 125, wide receiver Skylar Bell. Round 4, pick 126, linebacker Caleb Elarms Orr. Round 5, pick 167, safety Jalen Kilgore. Round 5, pick 181, defensive tackle Zane Durant. Round 7, pick 220, cornerback Toriano Pride Jr. Round 7, pick 239, punter Tommy Doman Jr. And round 7, pick 241, guard Armaj Reed Adams. The next article is entitled National Therapy Animal Day, and pictured are 2 men and a dog. One of the men is kneeling and has his arms around the dog, and the caption is Lawrence Dupre, David Covert, dog handler, and Mindy, therapy dog. They make visits to schools, hospitals, and libraries for children's story time, etc. Lawrence Dupre, Erie County Legislature of the 1st District, declared National Therapy Animal Day on April 30, 2026 in Erie County at the North Park Library. This day was created by Pet Partners to bring comfort and healing to those in need such as veterans, seniors, students, and patients. This declaration acknowledges National Therapy Animal Day in Erie County. Next is an obituary for Alex Harris of Buffalo, and there's a photo of Mr. Harris accompanying the article. Alex Harris of Buffalo, New York, passed on Wednesday, April 15, 2026. Alex Harris was a guidance counselor at Kensington High School in the Buffalo Public School System and director of the Maston Boys Club, where he mentored, coached, and inspired countless young men for many years. Alex was a graduate of Lafayette High School class of 1955, where he was an active and outstanding athlete. He was the first African American to make All-High at Lafayette. He played 2 years of basketball and track and 1 year of football. He won All-High honors 2 years in a row in high jump. He received honorable mention in basketball in 1954 with a 17-point average and 10 assists. He was All-High in 1955 with a 20-point average and 10 assists and helped lead his team to a Yale Cup with a record of 11 wins and 1 loss. Honorable mention in football at wing fullback while only playing his senior year. The next article is entitled Main Street Bank Bill That Would Really Hurt Main Street, and it's by Ben Jealous. A bill that promises to help for small businesses would mostly hand the gains to the biggest banks, the cost would fall on the people already shut out of loans. In Washington, the name on a bill is often the opposite of what it does. The Main Street Depositor Protection Act is the latest example. The name sounds noble. The math is not. Here's what the bill would change. The FDIC is the federal agency that pays you back if your bank closes its doors. Today it covers up to $250,000 in each account. Most people never come close to that limit. Most small businesses do not either. The bill would let the FDIC raise that limit as high as $5 million for business checking accounts that pay no interest. That is not a small bump. That is 20 times bigger. Supporters say the change will help small community banks and the small businesses they serve. I wish that were true. It is not. The current $250,000 limit already covers 99 out of every 100 bank accounts in this country. A study by J.P. Morgan Chase found that the typical small business keeps about $12,100 in its account on a normal day. The new limit would be more than 400 times higher than that. So who really gains from a $5 million guarantee? Not the corner bakery, not the family barbershop, not the small farm down the road. The gain goes to the biggest depositors at the biggest banks. The bill even covers banks with more than $100 billion to their name. Fewer than 1 in 100 banks in America are that big. No honest person would call them small. In other words, the bill takes the name of Main Street and hands the prize to Wall Street. Here's the part that should worry every American. Insurance is not free. When the FDIC raises its guarantee, banks must pay more to fund it. When banks pay more, they lend less. When they lend less, the door closes hardest on the people who are already locked out. Black-owned businesses are already turned down for loans 39% of the time. That is more than double the 18% rate for white-owned businesses. Hispanic-owned businesses face a 29% denial rate. These are the dreamers most likely to hear no when they walk into a bank. A new cost on lending will make that no come faster and louder. The economy runs on loans. When loans dry up, trouble spreads. The Great Recession of 2008 began exactly that way. The people who pay the highest price are never the wealthiest. They are the families with the least cushion to fall back on. The bill does offer a small shield to community banks under $10 billion. They would not pay the higher costs for 10 years. That is a kind gesture, but the wider damage to the loan market will not wait 10 years to arrive. There is one more problem. Deposit insurance works in part because it has limits. Limits force big depositors to pay attention to where they put their money. That attention keeps banks honest. Take the limit away, and you take the watchdog away too. The taxpayer is left to clean up the mess. The goal of helping Main Street is a good one. This bill is not the way to reach it. If Congress wants to help small businesses, it should make loans easier and fairer to get. It should invest in the neighborhoods that banks have ignored for too long. It should knock down the doors that have stayed shut for Black and Hispanic business owners for generations. And if big corporations want extra protection for their millions, they can pay for it themselves. The taxpayer should not be asked to ensure the comfort of the rich while the dreams of working families go unfunded. Read the name of a bill, then read the math. The two should match. On the Main Street Depositor Protection Act, they do not. Next will be a summary of the article Custom Built Lifestyle, Relationship, Stewardship, Leadership. Eating Another Fresh Piece of Pie, and it's by Mr. Jimmy L. and Mrs. Phyllis A. Lucas. Hello, Custom Built family. Thank you for another Custom Built Empowerment moment. In our previous articles, the Queen and I addressed one custom-built mentality of a leader, with some brief suggestions to assist you on your great journey in life. We would like to continue that path to keep you moving forward with additional tools for your successful journey from a leadership perspective. Again, the custom-built mentality lifestyle, CBM, is when you and I decide to adopt and adapt God's custom-built love, grace, faith, perspective, priorities, principles, promises, and paths by growing and maturing in relationship, stewardship, and leadership. This custom-built lifestyle mentality will be known when we walk out our custom-built purpose. Today's empowerment and the upcoming empowerments is developing oneself and the leaders that we are deploying. A custom-built leader's responsibilities are to listen, teach, train, develop, trust, and serve those whom he/she has taught and trained. And the number one thing is to be a good example in character, skill, set, and abilities. Also, PI. The acronym PI stands for preparation sometimes must be improved by taking I, initiative, with E, executing, with wisdom by exiting old ideas, and also developing new ones by deploying prepared new leaders. And the custom-built nugget thought for the week are, if all leaders were like me, would I complain as much in 2026? Never take a permanent attitude for a temporary situation. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the May 2nd to May 8th issue of the Buffalo Criterion. We read from the Buffalo Criterion every Friday at 7 p.m. Your reader has been Jonathan Roger. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the New York Times. Following that at 9 o'clock is the Discover Magazine, and at 10 o'clock with episode number 5 of The Widow by John Grisham. Stay with us for these readings and more. Radio Reading mails out a large print program schedule to our listeners every other month. If you have not received a Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service large print program schedule in the mail, please call us at 716-821-5555. We will make sure that you receive one every other month. A Braille version of the schedule is also available upon request. Our number again is 716-821-5555.
Hello, this is Mark Ryer. For the next hour, I'll be reading from the April 30th,